In this video, I want to address the debate between naturopath, holistic kind of treatments versus Western medicine.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boy.
Man, it's really coming down out there. Can I take a sick day from being sick? I just really need to. Hey guys, what's up? It's Jeffrey Lin. Welcome back to my channel. I'm documenting my journey with a mysterious hyperimmune chronic illness. And more importantly for you, I am sharing my experiences dealing with struggles and suffering and chaos, and giving you tips about how I live a meaningful life through that. In this video, I want to address the debate between naturopath, holistic kind of treatments versus Western medicine, especially because a lot of people discover my channel through the experimental Western medicine that I do with injections and the immunotherapies. And a lot of people do comment saying, why don't you try a diet change or a certain kind of supplement? I've done all those things over my life, and a lot of it I still do. Even the medications I take at a much lower dose than what's prescribed, precisely because I am super scared of the side effects and the damage that Western medicine can do to your body. But natural treatments also will damage your body, so I'll get to that. But I want to stress the idea that there's no one size fits all. There's no silver bullet treatment for everything. If you have a lighter disease, if you're just beginning to have eczema or allergies, it's probably just your immune system that's out of balance, and you can fix it with a diet change or avoiding certain allergens, or just taking more vitamin C or drinking more water and giving your immune system a boost. For those of us who are on these experimental treatments, it should be because we've tried everything possible and our disease is just too complicated for those basic things to work. So don't just think that there's one solution for everything. Because something works for you doesn't mean it'll work for somebody else, and just because something's working for you now doesn't mean it'll work for you for your whole life. Your health will change, your environment will change, and you just got to stay flexible. So the worst thing that could happen is you just get sent into this mindset that Western medicine is the right way to go, or holistic naturopathic treatments are the way to go, or yoga is the only way to go and there's nothing else. It's like people saying the worst thing that can happen to you when you go to Vegas is win, and if you win early on, you get sucked into this false belief that you will win all the time at gambling, and you just keep throwing more and more money in after your initial win. And that's kind of like the same thing with treatments, whether if it's naturopathic or Eastern versus Western medicine. For example, for Western medicine, steroids are very dangerous, and a lot of people are finding out about the steroid withdrawal symptoms that really destroy your skin. And for me, at the end of my college career, I basically had no skin, and I was leaking all the time, and I looked like a burn victim, and so much of it was because of steroids. So for those of you that think I support all Western medicine, I don't. I tell people, do stay away from steroids. Run away as fast as you can. But there are times when you're in an emergency and a steroid is the only thing that will save your life, and in that moment you gotta just bite the bullet and take it, and I've done that. Oh, then Jeff supports natural treatments. Not necessarily, because natural treatments are slow, so they don't help you in emergency situations. And for me, my reactions are very intense, very aggressive. They're always emergencies. I'm always in a crisis. So I don't have time to wait for a day or a couple days for natural treatments to kick in. I need something that'll work in 10 seconds or I'm going to die. That's the time frame I'm working with. And another danger about natural treatments being slow is that it will damage your body in slow and unnoticeable ways. It's sort of like slow poisoning. A lot of poison is natural, so just because something has a natural label on it does not mean it's safe. Doesn't mean it's not. I'm just saying you got to be flexible. You got to do your research, and you got to be aware of the risks. One of the things I took for a long time is Chinese herbal medicine, and a lot of people do end up with things like kidney stones just because the medicine isn't clean, and it's hard to get out of your system. Your kidneys just get clogged up. That's just one of the possible damages that could happen. And with like delayed damages, I was the youngest child to get acupuncture in America at about 4 years old or just before that. And most Chinese doctors wouldn't do acupuncture on a child, but I found a doctor that did. And initially it did work, but over time my skin got worse and worse. And what happens is a lot of acupuncture has been distorted from the traditional ancient Chinese way of performing it. Any acupuncture with needles, it's basically puncturing your nerves so you don't feel pain and you don't feel your illness, but it doesn't mean the illness is going away. So the illness will stay a lot of times by damaging your nervous system with the acupuncture needles. Your health will get worse and worse, and which is what happened with my skin. They also did bloodletting, traditional Chinese bloodletting, where they just cut a big gash behind your ear or on your back and just let out dirty blood. But there are side effects to that too. And hold on. And even with like yoga, this book is a pretty good one to check out. It's called The Science of Yoga, The Risk and Rewards. And then it talks about the potential dangers, including a lot of people getting spine damage, nerve damage, and even stroke from reduced blood to the brain. So even with yoga, not every pose is okay for every single person, because you might have a health problem that somebody else doesn't have. You might have a previous injury that somebody else doesn't have, and you just might not be in the physical condition that's required for a certain pose. But with all that said, since I was 9 years old, I started learning Chinese qi energy exercises and Chinese massage therapies called tuina. So from when I was 9 years old till my early 20s, I didn't take any Western medication at all. And I think that's part of the reason why my body's healthy enough to do all these experimental treatments and immunotherapies now, just because my organs are in very good health from not having used Western medicine from when I was 9 till about 22. So I was born with one of the most severe eczemas that doctors have ever seen, and also with my allergies, I'm allergic to literally everything on the planet, and basically everything on the planet is toxic to me, and I couldn't touch water for 10 years. So by the time I was 4 years old, all the doctors had given up and failed, and I thought I was going to die around 4 years old because there was no treatment that would work for me. So I went on this path of trying all these alternate treatments and medications. I did everything from drinking weird snake soup to drinking Taoist ash to using Crisco cooking oil on my body. But when I was 9 and started doing a specific kind of qigong, qi energy exercises, I finally stopped getting worse. So until that time, my health was going down like this. And when I started doing qi energy from 9 until 22, my health slowly got better like this. It wasn't falling off a cliff anymore. But in college, things started falling apart. Nothing that worked before was working anymore. I had emergency after emergency, and each time I had to use more steroids, which destroyed my skin even more. I had to take a semester off from college because my hands were bleeding all the time. I had to keep them bandaged, and none of the antibiotics and anything were working. And soon after that, that spread throughout my whole body, so I looked like a third-degree burn victim. It was just, I didn't have any skin left. And just recently, it took 7 years for my skin to grow back to look like this. So it wasn't always like this. For most of my life, it didn't look like this. This is very weird to me. So that's what I mean, that there's no one-size-fits-all. Just because qigong and tuina were working for me for over 10 years doesn't mean that it'll keep working. And if you just rely on that and just kind of ignore the weaknesses of any particular treatment, then things are going to get out of control. The body is something that's very complicated, and you're not going to outsmart it with just one single treatment or approach. So when I finally found the research doctors in Utah, what drew me to them was they actually didn't push for a lot of medication. They pushed for the right medications, but in very controlled doses. You can see my earliest videos. Within a couple weeks, my skin cleared up and I was in the best condition ever. So now I use a combination of using the qi energy and tuina massages to maintain the long-term health strategy, but the Western treatments like the dupilumab injection for eczema and the immunosuppressants are for day-to-day maintenance and giving my body a rest so that the long-term, more natural treatments can have a chance to work. If I'm constantly having infections and looking like I need to get my limbs amputated, the natural treatments aren't going to work fast enough to cure those things. So I just want to wrap it up with these concepts of, so what I'm doing here is I'm balancing the faster Western medication and its strengths with the slower naturopathic holistic treatments, and each has a strength, and by combining them I don't have to use as much Western medications and I can avoid a lot of the side effects or the damages to my organs that I otherwise wouldn't be able to do without the Eastern holistic kind of treatments and exercises that I do. The thing about short-term relief versus long-term survival, and this is more about the side effects with Western medications, and a lot of people just want to feel perfect right now and they just overload their body with steroids, and what happens is you destroy your kidneys. Let's not even talk about destroying the skin, but you destroy your kidneys. And a good friend of mine in high school just went blind, and his condition wasn't even that bad, but he just couldn't take the pain, and his parents were encouraging him to take more steroids because they felt bad that he was feeling bad. And now he's blind and his whole life is ruined, and it didn't have to be like that if he was able to hold out a little bit longer. So when you're dealing with a disease or any other struggles in life, don't get desperate, because you make the worst decisions in that moment and you're gonna have to live with the consequences for the rest of your life. But I hope it was helpful, and leave in the comments below which treatments have worked for you, and let's help each other out. Remember, stay strong. We're all in this together, and I'll see you guys soon.